Welcome back to the Hard Truths of Fitness series. If you've been following along since episode 1, you already know this isn't the place for sugarcoating. If you're new here, here's the quick catch-up. Each week we've been tackling one uncomfortable truth about fitness that most people would rather avoid, but that you actually need to hear. Last time, we talked about diet and the simple but brutal fact that you cannot outtrain bad eating habits. Doesn't matter if you crush every workout, if your nutrition's a mess. You're just spinning your wheels. And yes, that includes the so-called cheat meals that somehow start looking like cheat weeks. But here's the thing, even if your workouts are consistent, your meals are cleaner than your internet history, and you're tracking every set and every calorie, there's still one factor left. One factor you don't get to pick. You can't change it, you can't train it, and you can't buy it in a supplement stack. We're talking about genetics, the wild card of fitness, the genetic lottery, the one thing that decides details like how easily you gain muscle, where your body tends to store fat, or whether you've got long arms that make bench press feel like a construction project. Now, some people are naturally stronger, some stay lean without trying, and some build muscle like they're made of Play-Doh. Others, let's just say, they work just as hard, but their six-pack is still playing hide and seek. Here's the truth. Genetics matter. They influence your strengths and your limitations, but they don't decide your outcome. And today, we're going to break down exactly what role genetics play in fitness and how to make the most of the hand you've been dealt. All right, so let's talk about what genetics actually influence in your fitness journey. First up, muscle shape and attachment points. Think of it like this. Your muscles aren't just lumps of meat. They have specific shapes and lengths that affect how they look when you train. Two people can do the same workout, lift the same weight, and still see different results because their muscles attach differently. It's not unfair, it's just biology. Then there's fat distribution. Some people store fat in their belly, others in their thighs, others barely notice it at all. And when you start losing fat, it doesn't always come off evenly. Genetics play a huge role in where you gain it and where it leaves first. So yeah, that stubborn lower belly fat, your genes might be having a little fun at your expense. Next, we've got muscle fiber types, fast twitch versus slow twitch fibers. Fast twitch fibers are like your sprinting, explosive power. Slow twitch fibers are your endurance, long distance engines. Some people are naturally gifted with one type over the other, which can influence whether they're better at lifting heavy or running long distances. Again, not a limitation, just a detail you work with. And then there's limb length, frame size, and even hormonal profiles. These things affect leverage, strength potential, and how your body responds to training. It's why some people can deadlift like a beast with long arms, while others make gains in different ways. The point here is, all of these genetic factors work together to shape your potential. They set the stage, they influence the pace, but they don't write the ending. And once you understand your body's blueprint, you can start making smarter decisions with your training. So yes, genetics matter, but here's the cool part. Knowing how your body is built lets you work with it, not against it. And when you do that, everything else, your diet, your consistency, your mindset, starts to line up perfectly. Which leads us right into the next piece. Why genetics matter, but don't decide everything. Because once you know the rules of the game, you can start playing to win. So now that we've broken down what genetics actually influence, let's get one thing straight. Genetics matter, but they do not decide everything. Just because someone's muscles attach in a certain way, or they've got more fast twitch fibers, doesn't mean you're stuck with whatever body you were born with. Here's the reality. You may never look exactly like your favorite pro bodybuilder or elite athlete. And honestly, that's not just okay, it's actually freeing. Chasing someone else's genetics is like trying to run a marathon in someone else's shoes. They might fit them perfectly, but for you, blisters incoming. Elite performance is rare, and those jaw-dropping physiques you see on Instagram, in magazines, or on the covers of fitness websites, it's a combination of genetics, years, sometimes decades, of consistent work, and, let's be honest, a little help from angles, lighting, or other enhancements we don't need to name. So comparing yourself to that isn't just unhelpful, it's unfair to you. Here's the good news. Genetics set the starting line, not the finish line. They give you your blueprint, your baseline, your starting point. But what happens after that is completely in your hands. You can control how hard you train, how smart you eat, how consistent you are, and how patient you stay with your progress. Those are the factors that determine results, not whether your biceps attach slightly higher on the arm. When you start focusing on what you can control, your genetics become less of a limitation and more of a guide. They show you where you might have natural advantages, where you might need to work a little differently, and how to maximize your potential. And that shift in perspective, it's huge. Suddenly, it's not about competing with someone else's DNA. It's about competing with yourself and beating your personal bests. So instead of letting genetics intimidate you, use them as a roadmap. Know your body, work with it, and push consistently. That's where real progress comes from. And once you embrace that mindset, you'll see why comparisons are such a trap, and why focusing on your own journey is the key to growth, which is exactly what we're diving into next. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest mental hurdles in fitness, the trap of comparisons. This is where so many people sabotage themselves without even realizing it. When you constantly measure yourself against someone who's naturally more gifted, it takes a toll. Mentally, emotionally, and even physically, you start questioning your own progress. And that's dangerous because it steals your focus from the one person who actually matters, you. And let's be honest, social media doesn't help. The people you admire online, those naturals with perfect abs and insane lifts, they're rarely showing the full story. Lighting, angles, filters, strategic posing, years of consistent training, even supplements or enhancements sometimes. What you see is just the highlight reel, not the whole game. Comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel is like judging your cooking skills by Gordon Ramsay's restaurant kitchen. You'll always feel behind, and it's unfair to yourself. Here's the harsh truth. Comparison doesn't motivate, it sabotages. Every time you measure yourself against someone else, you're giving away your energy, your confidence, and your focus. Progress slows down because your attention shifts away from what you can control, your training, your diet, your consistency, and onto what you can't control, someone else's genetics. Instead, the goal is to flip the script. Stop chasing someone else's body. Stop letting social media dictate your self-worth. Start measuring yourself against your own past performances. Track your personal bests, your consistency, and your effort. That's where real growth happens. And when you focus on your own journey, all the stress, frustration, and envy start to fade, leaving you free to maximize your potential. Which naturally brings us to the next piece: how to actually maximize what you've got, using your own strengths rather than wishing for someone else's genetic lottery ticket. That's where the magic really starts. So now that we understand why comparisons are such a trap, the next step is learning how to actually maximize the hand you've been dealt. Genetics might set the starting line, but how you train, how you eat, and how consistent you are, that's what determines where you finish. The first step is tailoring your training to your body type. Not everyone responds the same way to the same workout. Some people build legs like they're made of concrete, while others see their upper body explode faster. Knowing your strengths and being honest about your weaker points lets you design a plan that works with your body, not against it. It's like playing a video game. You wouldn't try to beat a level using the wrong character, right? Same concept here. Next, it's about leveraging those strengths. If your chest responds quickly to training, prioritize it. If your arms are stubborn, don't get frustrated. Plan for patience and incremental progress. The goal isn't perfection in every area. It's maximizing what your body naturally does best, and then gradually improving what's harder for you. That's how you turn your genetic blueprint into a real, achievable strategy. And finally, progression and consistency are everything. Genetics might affect how your muscles look or how quickly you gain strength, but they don't determine whether you stick to the plan. Track your progress and push yourself week after week, month after month. Those are fully controllable factors. Strength, size, endurance, they all compound over time when your effort is consistent. The small wins add up, and before you know it, you've gone further than you thought possible. So, maximize your strengths, respect your limitations, and focus on the factors you can control. Use your genetics as a guide, not an excuse. And when you do that, everything we've talked about, the genetics, the comparisons, the training adjustments, starts to fall into place naturally, which leads us perfectly into the final truth of this series: patience. Patience is what ties everything together, turns effort into results, and ensures that all your work doesn't just fade away. That's what we'll dive into next. So now you've got all of this: how genetics play a role, why comparisons are trapped, how to maximize the hand you've been dealt, and why progression and consistency are the real game changers. You've learned how understanding your own body, focusing on what you can control, and working smart with your training can make a massive difference. But here's the thing: even when you understand all of this, most people hit the same wall: discipline. Knowing what to do is one thing, but showing up every day, sticking to your training, following your nutrition plan, tracking your progress, and not letting distractions take over, that's where most people fall short. And no matter how much knowledge you have about genetics or training strategies, without discipline, that knowledge won't get you results. Before I give you a suggestion to tackle that, I want to ask a small favor. If you can, drop a comment below. Anything. Share your thoughts, questions, or even just a "what's up?" Every comment helps push this channel forward, helps me reach monetization, and more importantly, it helps me reach another brother out there who needs this knowledge to make his life easier and get the most out of his fitness journey. So please, take a second to comment. It really does help. Now here's my suggestion. A few months ago, I made a video that's perfect for anyone who struggles with consistency and wants to turn knowledge into action. It's about science-based ways to build discipline, proven by some of the best people in the world. It covers practical steps to create habits that stick, stay consistent, and make sure that everything you've learned in this series actually turns into real results. It's for people who know what to do but struggle to do it every day. And it's the perfect complement to everything we've talked about here. To quickly recap this series, over the past episodes, we've broken down the hard truths of fitness. Episode 1 showed why results don't magically appear and why basics done wrong hold you back. Episode 2 explained why building muscle takes time and why patience is essential. Episode 3 made it clear that you can't outtrain a bad diet. Episode 4, this one, dove into genetics, what you can control, what you can't, and how to maximize your strengths. Each episode builds on the last, giving you the tools, knowledge, and perspective to make real progress. So don't just stop here. Take what you've learned, apply it, and then take it a step further. The missing piece, the bridge between knowledge and results, is discipline. And that's exactly what I cover in the video I made a few months ago. Go check it out now. It's on the side of your screen, right there next to this video. Click it and start turning everything you've learned in this series into consistent, unstoppable progress. Stay consistent, stay focused, and train smart, my brother. Stay a chimp.